medics say one man was shot dead in Sunday's protest against military leaders, during which scores of people were wounded in Khartoum and other cities. The Central Committee of Sudanese doctors said that the 28-year-old man was shot in the Sharagalnai area across the river from the capital Khartoum. In its account, the health ministry says 123 people were wounded due to what it said were clashes with police and the use of tear gas. The protest had been called by neighborhood resistance committees and were supported by political parties under slogans rejecting military rule. And now joined from Oslo, Norway, by Sudanese political analyst Dr. Majduline Tahir. Good to see you again, and thanks for your time. Now, reports say at least one Sudanese protester has been shot dead, with more than 125 others injured as a crackdown on mass pro-democracy rallies continue in Sudan. Tell us what you know since then.
Good evening to you, and thank you so much for inviting me to your news channel. Just a quick correction, one person is confirmed dead and over 300 are injured. I have quite verified information. It is over 300 people are injured because of the use of tear gas, but they also used sewage water to disperse the crowds of protesters. That's in terms of statistics. In terms of the events of the day, it was one of many days since the coup d'etat on the 25th of October, before and after the deal with Prime Minister Dr. Abdullah Hamdok. The deal has not deterred the people's determination to end the coup d'etat and to end 52 years of military ruling in the Sudan, which has left the Sudan disunited, poor, and dependent, very dependent. We do not feel that we live in an independent country. We feel that the interests of so many regional and international players are the reason for our poverty, for the looting of the wealth of the nation. And hence, we are determined to end military ruling. And no power sharing of any kind and no negotiations of any kind will deter us from our goal. Like I said, there are many ways for the military shrine to make sure that the looting of the nation continues and the nation wealth continues, and with the deal with the Prime Minister, without the deal with the Prime Minister. Yesterday, there were hundreds of thousands of people out of the streets, to the point that my main concern truly was the safety of the people. When I saw footage of people crossing the bridges, I was just worried that the bridges might collapse and the weight of so many protesters. The stamina is still there, the momentum is still there. We are calling for the 25th of December demonstrations. We are not disappointed. Some people expected the regime to fall yesterday. It didn't, and I personally think that's a good thing, because we do not want a premature end to this political dilemma and this political law.
Let me comment here quickly, Dr. Majduline. First, thanks for. I hope you can hear me. Thanks for giving us the update on the number of persons that have been injured. But very quickly, let's talk about these people, over 300. How are the medics handling, the situation at the moment?
Working under very difficult conditions, because it has been proven and verified that the military comes inside the hospitals and starts attacking the doctors and the nurses while they are treating the injured. Not only that, they actually do take injured protesters into arrest. They took people from the operation theater. They actually stormed operation theaters often and many times. This is what they do, and the medical personnel is quite exhausted because they work under very difficult conditions. What I would like to emphasize here is that we do have a plan. It's not like we are just protesting and we don't have a plan. Do we have a plan? Yes. Do we have a leadership? Yes. And the leadership is developing and maturing. And we do not want a premature victory. We want the victory when we actually take over to the full civilian ruling that we want and the rule of law. We want it to be based on a leadership that has only the national interests and the respect and to other international community, but with equality. And we have a plan, and we have a constitution, and the leadership is forming a consensus, and we are in no hurry in order to have a real change.
And if you say, if quickly here before I let you go, if you say the people are in no hurry, and you also used the phrase premature, you didn't want a premature end to all of this. Quickly let us in on how do you expect the people to achieve this all-important change?
The important change is achieved through a common constitution. Currently, there are about 3 or 4 constitutions, 3 of which have a lot more communalities than differences, which means that we can't reach a consensus is eminent, unreachable. And the consensus is basically that it has basic things. It has the absolute and first and foremost, it's an all-civilian government. The Constitutional Council is to be named and formed by these different groups, and then the Ministerial Council itself will appoint the Prime Ministerial Council and will appoint the Prime Minister and a very small and sovereign council. These things are under working. They are in the discussions and they are under the working. A premature victory and a premature leadership will lead us to what has happened 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, and that is we end up with a deal that is basically does not serve the interest of the people. A deal and a leadership that is more aligned with the old interest of not of the Sudanese people, will continue the same looting of the wealth of the nation. We do believe that the fight in Darfur, for example, or the upcoming fight in the east, which the military is trying to work out, is entirely not tribal or anything. It's a question of interest and resources.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid that's all we can take. Dr. Majduline El-Haj Tahir, thank you for your time and thanks for speaking with us here on the news.
Thank you so much for inviting me.